The development of any country will depend on energy availability. As you progress, the energy requirement will grow and the energy will be the key driver of development. So this is how the energy consumption of the world is going. I have taken this data from the BP Energy Outlook, and most of the data I have taken from the World Bank, BP Energy, or DGH, MOPNG, US Bureau of Mines, all the which are in public domain. You can go and see it. More detailed presentation will be available in that site. See, this is the energy. This is we call it million tons oil equivalent. So everything has been converted to the equivalent energy of oil. This is the total energy because you have various forms of energy: coal, natural gas, oil, nuclear, non-conventional, solar, tidal, wind, all kind of energy combined. You see, in 1965, it was only 4,000. Now it has reached about 14,000 over a period of how many? About 50 years. And the energy consumption as on date is increasing at about 2% per year for the period 10 to 14. This energy consumption, increase in energy consumption, is mainly coming from the emerging economies, that is India and China. And Indian energy consumption will also grow with the development. If you see, this is the energy consumption, Indian energy consumption. In 1965, we are about 50. Now, 50 million ton, now that has gone up to 650 over a period of again 50 years. You'll see this, the slope is increasing at a very fast rate. So you will see in the near future that energy consumption will increase in a much faster rate. See, United States is the most developed economy. They consume about 7,000 kg of oil equivalent, that is 7,000 kg of oil per year, whereas the India consumes about 600 kg. So it is about less than 1/10. And as the country progresses, this quantity will grow. We are slightly better than Bangladesh and Pakistan. Even we consume less energy compared to Nigeria. You see the European countries, China has almost 3 times energy consumption per capita wise. And Japan is much more, and the Germany, France, there's the European countries, you have almost 5 to 6 times energy consumption. As India grows and the development touches our villages, this energy consumption will further grow. What is the composition of energy consumption? World, see, this is oil about 1/3, that is 33%, and natural gas is 24%. If you see, oil and gas combined together is about 60%, and the coal is about 30%, rest is the nuclear and hydro and renewable resources, etc. Coming to the Indian scenario, the energy consumption is dominated by coal, that is your 55%, and 29% is oil and 8% is natural gas. So about 37% of our energy comes from hydrocarbon, that is your oil and natural gas. As you will see, what will happen in India? In India, this 55% will grow in the short term. You might be listening, coal blocks have been given and more coal will be mined in India. This will grow in near future, but what happens? If coal consumption increases, then your environmental issues will be there. The more pollution. So as the country becomes more and more environmentally conscious, we'll go for cleaner energy. Nuclear energy, natural gas. Natural gas is one of the cleanest energy available as on date. You do not get black smoke or dust around. Anybody staying near a coal power plant, coal-based power plant? You're staying? Okay. How is the pollution? Tremendous, right? Air pollution is there. But if you stay near a power plant which is run by natural gas, you will not be able to see anything. It's a very clean form of energy. So in future, what we'll see, this 8% will grow. What is happening in world today? People are concentrating more and more on natural gas, which is a clean energy. Iran has got a lot of natural gas. Today they are not able to produce because due to US sanctions. The sanctions will go, the energy sector, the natural gas production will pick up from Iran, and Africa is a new area from where you will be getting a lot of gas production. So in India also, this portion, this your 37% will be more or less, it will come to, that is your about 55-60%. So there is the opportunity for the petroleum engineers. I will come to that. But again, so how your oil production, what is the trend of oil production in India? So what has happened, this I have taken from the Director General of Hydrocarbon. Director General of Hydrocarbon is the regulatory body in India for oil and gas production. See, in 1960s, barely we have some production, mainly this production was coming from the Assam oil fields, a big boy, Naharkatia and things like that. Then came the Gujarat fields that was put on production. And after that came the giant Bombay High field. The production picked up. So it touched about 30 million ton. Earlier what was happening? The production was by two companies, Oil India and ONGC, both of them are government companies. They were exploring, they were producing. After that came, the government decided to give certain blocks to the private players. Then the production started. This is due to that Kane Energy which is producing near Rawa. And after that there was a jump in production. This is due to your production from the Kane Energy fields of Rajasthan. No, not KG Basin. This is oil. And some contribution came from KG Basin. The first deep water oil field, that was MA, we call it D26, that is near Kakinada, that was put on production in 2008. That is a field that was discovered in January 2002, January 2006, put on production September 2008. Nobody in the world has put production fields on production so quickly, deep water fields. Reliance is the company which did that in a record time. The nearest probably it will be 4.5 years to 5 years. So you'll see the production is more or less constant. It is slightly picked up. But I'll tell you how it's going to behave in future. This is the natural gas production. Again, this is by the green is by the ONGC and Oil India. And then came the KG Basin production, and there was addition in gas. Gas, I was telling you, today the country can absorb a lot of gas. Only thing you have to produce it. As far as oil and gas is concerned, in India, there is no constraint for market. You produce as much as you want, put in the gas, put in the network, and oil, you can give it to refineries. There is marketing is not an issue like Gulf or so. So what is the prospect in India? Dr. Murthy will be, he has worked extensively in this area. he will be able to explain in much detail this area. See, we have the sedimentary basins. What happens? Oil occurs in certain type of rock. Just like in your, if you drill a well in the rock, you have water. When you take out water, water will flow to the well. You keep on taking water from the well. Similarly, the oil and gas is stored inside the rock in the pore spaces. If you have in the river bed, if you are saying when you, if a dry river bed, dig a small hole and you will get water. That water is inside the sand matrix, sand bodies. Similarly, oil and gas stays in that. So there are certain areas, we call it basin, where oil and gas is found. So depending on our perception where the oil will be found, the Indian basins have been divided into different categories. The priority is your category where we believe we can produce oil and gas very quickly is this area. This is your Gujarat area, this is the Bombay area, and this is the Rajasthan area, this is the Assam area, and this is the Rajamundry or Kakinada, that area from where you are producing onshore fields. Here is the offshore field of Reliance is located. That's we call the KG basin, from where we are producing oil and gas. As on date, if we go up to 200-meter water depth, because what happens when you go away from the shore, the water depth increases. So this on-land masses and 200 meters of water depth, we have about 1.8 million square kilometer of area, the basin where we can find oil. And there are 26 basins which are prospective. And if you go beyond 200 meter of water depth, we have about 1.3 million square kilometer. So total prospecting area is about 3 million square kilometer for where you can get oil and gas. And as on date, not much of area has been explored in India. There are different type of layers. There will be one layer where there will be small space between the sand particles and where you will find oil and gas. And on top of that, there will be a layer from where oil and gas cannot go. We call it a cap rock. So, which one is light? Oil is light or gas is light? Which one is lighter? Gas. So, where it will be stored? At the upper part. So, the gas is stored at the upper part, then you will have oil, then you have got here water. So gas is found at the top, next you will find oil, next you will find water. So what you do? You drill a hole just like a tube well. Drill a hole and oil and gas comes out. That oil and gas, so oil and gas will be coming in a mixed form, oil, gas, water, all mixed together. So you have to separate oil, gas and water. And gas also as such it cannot be used. There will be some water with it. Remove that water. Sometimes what happens, there will be some carbon dioxide, H2S. There are the impurities. They will damage your pipeline when you transport it. You take it out. There you do gas processing. And oil also, whatever crude oil comes from the well, that cannot be used. That is to be sent to a refinery. In refinery, you separate to petrol, diesel, furnace oil, all kind of things. So where the natural gas will be used? So fertilizer. Fertilizer, what happens? Methane you get hydrogen from there, and for fertilizer manufacturing you need ammonia. So nitrogen you take from atmosphere. So you manufacture ammonia. Cooking gas. I don't know whether Vijayawada has got a pipe natural gas or not. And many cities in India, west coast, you have pipelines. And so we'll come to the petroleum engineering. What a petroleum engineer actually does. Oil is there inside the earth. First somebody has to discover it. That is done by the geoscientist, geophysicist and geologist. They will discover the oil. After the oil, they will tell that okay, here you have oil. Then there is a set of people who will be moving, they will be drilling a hole. Just, I was telling, somebody will tell, okay, some amount of oil, that is our geoscientist, mainly the geophysicist and geologist, they will tell some oil gas is there in this area. There is no method to know directly that for sure that oil is there. So a set of people will be moving, they will be drilling a hole here. And they will be discovering, they will say that okay, it was our friends, geologist, geophysicist, they told oil is here and we found oil here. This is called, where that oil and gas is stored is called reservoir, oil reservoir. Then another set of people will move, they are called production engineers or completion engineers. First completion engineer comes when the hole is drilled, because this well, this is not just a hole, they have to put a pipe, and when oil comes in the well bore, there are some technical challenges, because once you put a hole, sand may come with it, some water may come with it. We don't want, these are the undesirable things. So the completion engineer will come and he will decide what kind of equipment will put. Next, the production engineer will start, then he will design the well and surface facility. Once the oil comes here, he will lay the pipelines, the oil and gas will be processed. That will be the function of a production engineer. Then this part of the oil and gas, you will be drilling a number of holes. They are called wells. And from which well, how much will take production, that is done by reservoir engineers. They will also, once oil field is there, gradually the quantity is fixed. You will be recovering it. Means gradually you will be producing it. Typically, your production will be 20-25%. 75% is left within the reservoir. So the reservoir engineers, with the latest technology, they will be producing more and more. So as I was telling, what is the major roles of all these functions are done by petroleum engineers worldwide. So major roles, the drilling engineer, and I will tell you what kind of cost involved in there in drilling. In onshore field, it may go up to 3 million or 15-20 crores. In an offshore, one well may cost about $100 million, about 600 crores of rupees for a single well. Those kind of money is involved. See, this is, we call it a rig. From here, just is a, what you are seeing tube well, there is a very simple form of drilling, and they are very complex equipment, and the rental charges means per day we about pay in an offshore about $1 million total expenditure on a rig. Means 6 crores of rupees per day is the expenditure for one day, hiring charges and other services. Those kind of money is involved, and the returns are also very, very high. Then this is the drilling engineer and the completion engineer. Completion engineering itself is a branch where what kind of equipment will be lowered, because Just we are not putting the well in production, we have to monitor it, what is coming from the well and what is the pressure, temperature, all kind of things are monitored. That is decided by our completion engineers. Then comes the production engineering. They will put the pumps and what will the size of the pipes and what is the processing facility required. That is the job of a production engineer. Then the reservoir engineers. Reservoir engineers, they will be telling this much oil was earlier there, this much oil is now, and how much oil we should produce, what kind of whether to restrict oil production, gas production and water injection, all kind of things. These are the jargons I am telling you to give a flavor, but this is a very, very complex, because I'll tell you, in United States, the computational time used by the aerospace engineers are the highest, which is followed by only oil sector. Oil sector will use a lot of computational time, computer time, in our seismic data processing, well log analysis and your reservoir simulations. That is next only to the aerospace engineering. I'll tell you, 25 years back, as a student also, I had the access. During that time, supercomputers were in there. The latest model during that time was C90. C90, during that time I was doing masters. Itself a big branch, and money is also innumerous. Reservoir engineering, I was telling you, this is a computer generated picture for different saturation, means what is the concentration of oil, gas, water inside the reservoir. Those kind of studies are done. In India, that ONGC has got a very big institute, we call it Institute of Reservoir Studies at Ahmedabad. They do a lot of work on this. Completion engineer, as I told you, these are what happens, there will be a big pipe, we call it casing. After that, we put smaller pipes inside that, and different type of equipment in the well that is designed by them. And production engineers, of course, first, when you drill a well, automatically the flow comes. Gradually the energy of the field goes down. Then you put a pump, different type of pumps are there, we call it artificial lift. And again, these are all the functions I discussed, that is of job of petroleum engineers. And recently, two things have come up in unconventional energy. Shale gas. Anybody is aware of shale gas? Shale oil? US, United States, they are pioneer in that. There, if you see, they are producing once the shale gas boom came, means earlier, shale is a type of formation, type of rock where the oil was not moving, oil and gas was not moving. What they do, they created small fractures and they produce it. That's called a shale gas. After the shale gas boom, the production has increased in a very large quantity. So the gas price in United States is $3 per million BTU or so, whereas they are able to give a very cheap energy. And in India, that will be coming shortly. And another thing is called coal bed methane. Coal bed methane, what happens when there is a coal seam? India, you know, has a lot of coal. So you drill a hole, drill a well, and take out water. You reduce the pressure. Are you aware of adsorption? Anybody? Adsorption. 10th, 12th you might have read adsorption in chemistry. No? So what happens? The molecules, they will be stuck to the surface. So when you reduce the pressure, those molecules will be released. The gas molecules will be released. And what you do, you depressurize the coal seams and produce gas. That is an unconventional energy. And in India, it has already started. Today, they are producing about 5 lakh cubic meter of gas in places called Jharia, Raniganj, that is near Durgapur, and Asansol, that area. And Reliance is going in a big way in Sadol, that is in MP. Our production will be starting this year. And we are ready for that, and the work is going on. Reliance will be a big producer of coal bed methane. So, end of the day, money that makes a difference. This I have taken from the Euro Bureau of Labor Statistics, how the salaries compare with other engineers in United States. The material engineer earlier is called a metallurgist, I think now that has changed to the material engineering. Electrical engineer, chemical engineer, computer engineer, aerospace engineer, and the petroleum engineer. Here it is 52,000 annual salary, starting salary about $74,000 a year. This trend is there in the United States for last 30 years. Petroleum engineers are the highest paid engineers in the United States. I was telling you, as the energy demand grows, this trend will continue. So what are the opportunities in oil and gas sector? We call it E&P companies. Exploration means find oil and produce it. That is called E&P company. That also we call it upstream. Means they will find oil, produce it. And downstream mainly the refinery. They will be processing petrochemical and your refineries, they are the downstream industries. The upstream industry, petroleum engineers will find a job in the upstream industry, mainly. And all the downstream sector also, like your BPCL, IOC, they are also entering into the upstream sector. BPCL is mainly a refining and marketing company, Bharat Petroleum, petrol pumps you might be seeing. They are entering into they have entered into the gas field which they have in Mozambique. Is a big gas field. They are also entering into the area. So this is the picture, how it looks like the offshore fields. Offshore, these are called the platforms from where you will have wells, they produce it and process it. They are mini towns by themselves. Each processing complex may have a power generation capacity of about 100 megawatt. And 200, 300 people will be staying there. This is the evening picture of a offshore location in Bombay High. See, these are the flares. Sometimes you have to flare a little quantity of gas to maintain the process safety. Chemical engineers will be very familiar with the process safety and that issue. So what are the companies? You have Cain India. Cain India is operating both East Coast and West Coast. Cain Energy has a field in Rawa.